Join me as I dive into the dark truth behind two of the most twisted horror movie endings and see if I can handle the shocking revelations. Horror movies have a way of keeping us on the edge of our seats, but some endings are so twisted they leave us speechless. These endings not only surprise us but also make us rethink the entire story. Today we're counting down the top 2 most twisted horror movie endings that will blow your mind. Buckle up, horror hounds, because we're in for a wild ride. First up, we're venturing deep into the eerie and isolated world of The Cabin in the Woods. This isn't just your typical cabin in the woods slasher flick though. Oh no, this film takes the genre and flips it on its head, delivering a shocking climax that leaves you wondering what the hell you just watched. The movie starts out like your classic horror setup. We've got a group of friends, the jock, the nerd, the virgin, the fool, and the whore. Archetypes as old as time itself. They pile into a beat-up RV and head off to a secluded cabin for a weekend of, well, you know, the usual debauchery and horror movie shenanigans. As they settle into their home away from home, things start to feel off. The atmosphere grows heavy with dread as if something sinister is lurking just beyond the trees. And lurking there is. The friends start getting picked off one by one by a family of murderous backwoods psychopaths. It's brutal, it's bloody, and it's exactly what you'd expect, right? Wrong. Here's where The Cabin in the Woods veers sharply away from the beaten path. See, unbeknownst to our hapless victims, they're not just random college kids on a weekend getaway. They're pawns in a much larger, more sinister game. Turns out, their every move is being manipulated by a shadowy organization that's been orchestrating these horror shows for centuries. These puppet masters control everything. The monsters, the traps, even the friends' decisions. All to appease ancient slumbering gods who demand a blood sacrifice. Talk about your unexpected plot twists. It's like the writers took every horror trope they could find, threw them in a blender with a healthy dose of Lovecraftian cosmic horror, and hit puree. But the real gut punch comes at the very end, just when you think our protagonist, Dana, has escaped the clutches of the evil corporation and survived the nightmarish ordeal. She stumbles out of the underground facility where she's been held captive, and right into the arms of, well, let's just say it's a sight that would make H.P. Lovecraft himself proud. The final shot of the movie is Dana and her would-be rescuer standing there, watching in terror as the world literally ends around them, the ancient gods unleashed upon the unsuspecting populace. The credits roll, leaving you with a lingering sense of dread, and the realization that sometimes, there's no happy ending, no matter how hard you fight. It's a bleak, uncompromising ending that stays with you long after the credits roll, forcing you to confront the idea that maybe, just maybe, we're all just pawns in a game played by forces beyond our comprehension. Now, if you thought The Cabin in the Woods was a wild ride, hold on to your hats because we're diving headfirst into the haunting depths of the others. This film, a masterclass in atmospheric dread and psychological terror, will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about reality. Nicole Kidman delivers a tour de force performance as Grace Stewart, a mother fiercely devoted to her 2 photosensitive children, Anne and Nicholas. They live in a darkened old mansion shrouded in an almost perpetual fog, cut off from the outside world. Grace enforces strict rules. Every door and curtain must be bolted shut against the sunlight that could harm her children. The house is a prison of shadows and whispers, a breeding ground for secrets and fear. The tension builds slowly, subtly, like a creeping chill that seeps into your bones. Strange noises echo through the empty halls. The children claim to see shadowy figures lurking in the corners. Grace, her nerves frayed by isolation and worry, dismisses it all as childish imagination. But as the strange occurrences escalate, even she can't deny the feeling that something is terribly wrong. The arrival of new servants, Mrs. Mills, Mr. Tuttle, and the mute Lydia, seems to only amplify the paranormal activity. Mrs. Mills, a stoic and enigmatic housekeeper, seems to know more than she lets on, her eyes holding a depth of knowledge that chills Grace to her core. The film is a masterclass in suspense, using suggestion and implication rather than outright scares to weave its chilling tapestry of fear. Director Alejandro Amenabar understands that true horror lies not in what we see, but in what we don't see, in the spaces between the shadows, in the whispers at the edge of our hearing. The film keeps you guessing until the very end. Are the servants part of some sinister plot? Is the house truly haunted by malevolent spirits? Or is Grace, driven to the brink by grief and isolation, the architect of her own unraveling? And then, the rug is pulled out from under us. The truth, when it's finally revealed, is not a sudden shocking twist, but a slow, dawning realization. A creeping sense of unease that blossoms into full-blown terror. Grace and her children are not the living prisoners they believe themselves to be. They are the ghosts, tethered to the house in death, unable to move on. The shadowy figures they've been so afraid of, those are the living, the new family who have moved into the house, unaware of the spectral presence sharing their home. It's a gut-wrenching twist that forces us to re-examine the entire film, to see the events unfold from a completely different perspective. The film's final shot of Grace, accepting her fate and choosing to remain in the house with her children, is both heartbreaking and terrifying. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most frightening monsters are the ones we create ourselves, the ones we carry within our own hearts and minds. The Others is not just a horror film, it's a meditation on grief, guilt, and the terrifying power of our own minds to deceive us. It's a film that stays with you long after the credits have rolled, its chilling imagery and haunting themes lingering in the back of your mind like a half-remembered nightmare. So, what do you think about these twisted horror movie endings? Did The Cabin in the Woods' shocking climax leave you speechless? Or did The Others' haunting twist send chills down your spine? Share your favorite horror movie endings in the comments below. Let's keep the horror conversation going. If you're interested in more horror film theories, check out our video on the psychological impact of horror movies and why we love to be scared. Until next time, keep it creepy.